Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cosmic Portal. Today, we're doing Mark and Vonda at the movies, and we are going to be discussing a kind of a silent movie. I guess not a lot of people heard about, but it was called Greenland 2. Now, this movie came out about 2 weeks ago, starring I can't remember what their names are.
Gerald Butler
Gerard Butler and
and hmm,
yeah, I just know her from V. But it was quite interesting. That's been quite a while. Now, this is a part two. The first one was about a comet that fell into Earth's atmosphere, broke up, and started wreaking havoc. And then uh, the couple were trying to get to the safe place where everybody was living at in Greenland, which was underground bunker, and then to try to survive. Her name is Marana Bak. I can't even pronounce her
yeah.
last name. But yeah, this is pretty much a part two to that. After the comet hit and everybody survived inside the bunker in Greenland, and this is where this story picks up from. So, what did you think about this movie?
I've always been kind of a fan of natural disasters movies. I wouldn't say this one is high on my list. Um, I didn't even know they were doing a part two until probably about 4 weeks ago or so. We was Mark and I was at a movie and I saw the preview. By chance, I saw the first one over the summer. Recognize both of these actors and actresses, and decided to see it because their faces that I obviously knew. Watched it and didn't think that it was too bad. I wouldn't put it on the scale of Armageddon greatness, but I thought it wasn't a bad movie. I think it was like about 4 or 5 years after the comet hit Earth, and basically they were emerging, coming out, testing the air, trying to see if life was slowly and steady going back to normal. And sadly, they had to leave the bunker and try to get to another site to see if life is growing there. So that's pretty much the whole gist of the movie. These two characters that had the son who had asthma, trying to make sure that he was doing okay, growing up, the 4 or 5 years in the bunker, how his attitude would have changed, and just trying to get to a safe haven to where they can slowly and steady resume life. Because obviously, if you are underground for 4 or 5 years, thing is different. This little boy didn't experience TV, only experienced the same people day by day, food, because for what I remember from the first movie, they wasn't necessarily, they got a ticket to go, but circumstances happen, and they kind of was one of the last few to get to the bunker, and the bunker was overfilled, so you had sickness here and there, food shortage, and basically after 4 or 5 years you have to get out, you have to go to the surface, try to plant food, see what animals are surviving. So just a movie of survival.
Yeah. Now, I guess people should realize, Greenland still has an active volcano, so that affected what happened on the island as well. Um, the thing I would start off with, because I never saw the original movie until probably 2 days before I went and watched this movie. So, yeah, there was kind of a lottery. People that were selected to go live in Greenland had specialized skills. And he was a construction engineer. So his family was chosen until they realized his son had asthma, and then they couldn't go. He could still go, but his wife, well, his son couldn't go. So they were kind of SOL for that reason. Um, they ended up being separated, and the first movie spends the whole time with them trying to get back to each other and to make it to a place where they can fly a plane to Greenland before the actual comet hits the planet. There were fragments of comets continually hitting the planet, so there was a lot of destructions prior to that. This one focuses on, because at the end of the first movie, it was 9 months later. They go back out, and it looks like they could leave 9 months after it happened. And then this movie starts with, like she said, 5 years later. They did go out 9 months, but there was radiation issues, so you had to wear a suit to go outside. And in fact, Gerard, he was going out all the time, and he get sick because of that. But they were looking for things because stuff would wash up on shore. So boats came, stuff like that, that were empty with people had died on these boats and they washed up on shore. And all of these people were going out trying to find supplies on these ships. So that's pretty much what happened until something happened on the island. And then everybody had to mass evacuate. And at this point, the movie focuses on London instead of America and what's going on in England and stuff like that. So if you do get a chance to see it, it's not a bad story. It is a lot to it, is the only way I can put it. There are still people that are still living underground. Some people can go, depending if they have a, a badge or something that allows them to go into these bunkers. But a lot of people are just killing people for supplies. Um, my thought is, if you're still above ground, there's still the radiation issue. How long are you going to survive if you're not going someplace that's safe? So I don't think people thought that much about the issue. It's kind of a sad story, quite interesting, but there was a lot to it. If you do get an opportunity to see it, I say check it out. Now, for me, on a scale of 1 to 5, um, I'd probably give it a 3 stars out of 5 stars. There are some interesting parts in it. Is the only way I can put it. How about you? What would you say it is?
Well, I know you just mentioned, people living above ground. I mean, obviously, if they were, in Virginia, they can't go to the a bunker, so they kind of have no other choice but to go and go for it and see what happens. So I don't think it's hey, the radiation, they kind of had no other choice. If something was like that was to happen with us right now, we don't got nowhere to go. We would, if we survive the comet attack, we're going to have to go out. We're going to have to see if we can plant food and find food and medical supplies. So that's one thing that I think it's it got to happen. One thing I did notice, just like in every movie where there's a disaster, it's kind of sad that we're always fighting each other. You would think that, this is a big disaster. There's people in pockets of the world, the state, the country, whatever it is. And we still got to find, where we're just attacking each other. And it's just sad that, I mean, would this happen in true life? Why is it continue happening in movies? Because we see it all the time. Every time there's some kind of disaster movie or war, there's always a faction who's trying to, you know, um, be, the man of, a lower fraction that don't have, people behind them weapons. So I'm not saying this happened a lot of this movie, but it did come to mind when I watch it. Um, I will also probably give this movie a 3. Could be just because I like these kind of movies. Don't watch them as much as I used to, but they still kind of have a weird place in my heart. So definitely, if you get a chance to see it, I'll say go for it. I don't know the budget on this movie. I don't think it is making like tons and tons of money, so I don't know how long it's going to be in the theaters. We saw it last week, but definitely when it comes on cable, just like I did when I watched the first one, I'd say go ahead and watch it.
Okay. Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, it's interesting. The one thing, like I said, that I always find funny is that when people are in a natural disaster, first thing people start doing is looting, and I'm thinking, what are you looting for? This is not worth anything. If something happens, and you see this all the time. So in that sense, that's why my score is a little bit lower. I would hope humanity bands together, but it doesn't seem like in movies that's what's going to happen. So that would be my only thought about it. Um, yeah, I agree um, with you as well. Wire, I definitely agree with that. So
Yeah.
I wish people would, like, hey, we need to do this in order for everybody to survive,
Yeah.
but that's just not what's going to happen. So, again, though, if you do get a chance to see it, go ahead and check it out. Anything that you want to say before closing?
No, no. I mean, like I said, we see that happen in a lot of movies. So, do filmmakers think we really would do something like that? Do you think we would really do something like that? You know, from the earliest movies that I've watched with, movies kind of like this, they always they always said it. When if it's, Planet of the Apes or, Star Wars in the future, there's always somebody up there that's trying to, get down to the little people to find control. So I think that's that. Overall, watch it. Why not? It's supposed to be snowing this weekend. If you can watch the first one and you haven't seen it, watch it. The way movies come to on streaming services now, this one's probably be up there by the end of the month.
Yeah, now the first one I think is on HBO, HBO Max. You can actually stream it up there, part one, and that came out, I guess, about
2000,
oh,
2020.
so 6 years ago. So you can definitely check that one out. Then take that opportunity to see this one. It's something different to see. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
All right. Well, want to go ahead and close with that. Until next time, when we go back to the movies, everybody have a great evening.
Bye. Thanks for watching.